Hey everyone, Michelle here for Together We Are Mondays. If you guys can hear my voice is slightly off, it is because I am sick, but hopefully I'll be getting better soon. But today I want to talk about food and why food is not the enemy. So this week I kind of just want to hear what the other girls have to say in regards to approaching food in your recovery. I know it was one of the hardest things for me to work on. I was like, okay, like I can work on myself. I can talk about my childhood and how troubled everything was, and I can talk about it, and then I can just go home and I can restrict or I can purge or whatever. And it was like thinking like that and thinking that I could still engage in symptoms, still manipulate my food, and think, oh, I'm doing so well, I'm recovering, whatever. But really, it wasn't like that. I was still giving food control over me, which is one thing that I kind of want to talk about today. How food is not the enemy, how you can incorporate it into your recovery and know that you can't fully recover unless you give up the control of food and you give up the power that food has over you. Um, that of course was one of the hardest things for me to do. I'm still working on it. Like food is an interesting thing. I mean, recently I've been really good with eating what I want to eat when I want to eat it and not feeling guilty about it. But one of the biggest things that hit me in my recovery was that I thought I could recover everything except the eating. And I saw food as just a nourishment to my body that I didn't feel I deserved. Yes, I could talk about everything that I had been through, everything that had happened in my past, but I was really still denying myself at a most basic level the nourishment and the support and love of myself. Um, and it didn't actually come to play a big part. I was, eating more and slowly incorporating food in my life, and I was thinking, oh, I'm eating, and that was enough. And I think that your mind does like to play tricks on you and say that you are eating when you know for a fact that you're not, or not eating enough. And the one thing that I had to do, I had started at a very low place, and I had to build up my trust with food and recognize that no matter what was going on in my personal life, that food had to be a staple. So if ever something was overwhelming, and say I had like a horrible thing happen in my personal life, and then I had and binged and purged, then what else would I have to do except for restrict the next day was what my eating disorder was telling me. But it was when I was like, okay, obviously I feel so gross. I just binged. Like that's horrible. Like to me, I felt utterly disgusting. And yet eating the next day, eating a healthy meal, sticking to your diet plan, waking up that next morning and saying, you want to know what, I'm going to eat breakfast because I want it and because I deserve it. Like that was something that was really hard for me to do. But the way that I was working on that, as I've mentioned before in my videos, was manipulating portion sizes so that I was eating, and I was eating a lot, well, like a lot for what my mind would consider, but I was eating a healthy, normal rate, like normal amount. I don't know why I said rate, that really doesn't make sense. Sorry. Um, but yeah, so basically, I would change my portion sizes so that it looked to my mind as if I was eating less than I was, but I would eat multiple of that type so that I was like doing better. So for example, sandwiches have always been a really hard thing for me. Like just like a plain like peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I would only be able to bring half of a sandwich, and half a sandwich is perfectly safe for me. I feel comfortable eating it, but I knew that half a sandwich was not an acceptable lunch. And so I had to slowly bring more. And the way that I did that was I brought myself two half sandwiches to lunch. I couldn't tell myself that I was eating a full sandwich. I even made the sandwiches at separate times and packaged them in different containers. But having that thing where you know that you're eating, but you're manipulating portions, like that was slowly building the trust with food. And I think that going also into that and looking at how you can change portion sizes, but also looking at how it does take strength to the day after a binge to eat and to eat healthily, not skimpily eat or restrict in any way, that takes a lot of strength. Um, because food is not the enemy. It never has been. It's always been the mental dialogue, the emotional. One of my favorite quotes, I think that sums up eating disorders in a little bit, is in the movie For the Love of Nancy, which stars Tracy Gold, a recovered anorectic herself. But the doctor in that is talking, and he says, starvation is not the illness, it's the symptom. And that line just really hits me because it is true. It is, people see like food as the only manipulation, and it's always seen as the enemy, and we have to like kind of train it. And like you hear things in advertisements for food like sinfully rich or indulge yourself, and it does seem weird hearing that, like a sinful pleasure, like things like that in regards to food. And it should be, no, I wanted a type of food to eat it because I knew that I could nourish my body with it. I wanted it because it tasted yummy. Maybe I like it. um, and I think that it's really important to come to that realization and see that food has no connection to anything. Food is fuel. I know I made a video. If you guys want to check it out, it's somewhere here on the channel. You can go look in our videos. But it says that calories and food, and it's all just fuel. You won't expect a car to run on empty. It's one of the biggest analogies used for eating disorder recovery. Just like you won't expect the car to run with no gas, don't expect your body to run with no food. Food is necessary to function, to work properly. The hard thing about recovery is that dissociation of food with might, with power, with strength, with success, and using food to manipulate that so that in your mind you're gaining more success when in reality you're dwindling away into an eating disordered victim. So I think that's really what I want to leave you guys with, just the thought of food's not the enemy, and you really need to fuel yourself in order to work properly, to have friendships that last, to love like people on a deeper, sorry, my leg itches, on a deeper relationship, to be able to focus in school, at work, to be able to travel, explore the world. I know I just was on a 10-day trip to Europe. I had an amazing time, but side note there. But I was eating and I was having a fabulous time because my thoughts weren't focused on food, about what I was going to eat when the next meal was. It was about what was going on in that moment. And it was one of the best things that I could have ever hoped for. So I think I'm going to leave you guys with that. I do have the question of the week as well, which is, I know we've done a lot of questions recently about like music and books and about animals. So I want my question, I haven't thought of it yet, but I want my question to be something that's unrelated to like anything, you know? Like I feel we've done a lot of that recently. So, um, oh, I didn't even realize. Apparently there's all these stuffed animals back here, but cute stuff. Um, Here, I got a good question. Right now, you guys are making this video, and I want to know what, the clothes that you're wearing, what store did you buy them at, and do you shop there regularly? So, I'm actually wearing a dress right now, if you guys can semi-see. It's cute. It's long. It's flowery and pink. But I got that at JCPenney's, where I shop like every so often. I don't really like shop there. And then this white cardigan I got at Old Navy. So, okay, that is it. I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.